What's up, YouTube? This is Nashville Arm Wrestling. I'm Jesse.
And I'm Eric.
And this is another episode of Table Talk. Let's get right into it. Wall 503, man. What'd you think?
Thought it was pretty good. I wasn't expecting a lot of 3-0 matches, but it's pretty exciting.
Oh, I feel like every match on the card was just awesome, man. I was hyped through the whole thing. Justin Bishop.
3-0, I think. Yeah, we called that one pretty close. We picked Bishop on that one. He looked pretty strong. So
I didn't expect such a dominant performance. Thought it was just going to be a little bit closer, but he destroyed Celiaris in every match. Lock versus Valerie Beach.
Match of the night.
This is my favorite match of the night. Valerie came on with the big hit, got the first pin. And then Locke went, she's not that strong. I don't know why that happened to me.
Yeah, she definitely had a good first hit there, Valerie Beach.
Yeah, I love how hyped she was. She was a little over the top at moments, but
after that, Nancy took over. That was a great match.
She actually beat her 5-1 because she got those 2 elbow fouls and still pinned her. That was
aggressive match, awesome pulling. My favorite match of the night was Barbosa. I'm glad he got a win. He had a rough year last year, but both those guys look strong. 3-1. I think I predicted that one.
Yeah, that was the only match I got wrong of the night.
But yeah, he looked pretty good on that one.
Yeah, he looked real strong. Giannis.
3-0 again.
Yep.
He looks elite as always. And Todd
Chafee. Man. Chafee got whooped.
He didn't look himself.
I just don't think he's an arm wrestler, man. I think he's just straight power. If somebody stops him, his stamina definitely wasn't there.
Yeah, I was expecting more on that first hit, the first match. But Todd's training definitely has shown, like all that circuit stuff he's doing. But he looks pretty scary.
His pronation is so damn strong, man. People give him crap for the under the table all the time, like he lives under there. But man, like that rotation he's got is just so dominant.
But yeah, Chafee, his endurance is just
lacking.
Yeah.
Big dude though, I wouldn't run this with him.
But I did think he was going to get at least one win on that, but Todd showed up for sure.
So on July 18th, 504, first match is going to be Jamie Sheldon versus Alan Fisher. Who do you think's going to win?
Gotta go with Alan.
Yeah, I'm going with Alan too. I think Jamie Sheldon might get one pin on him, but I think it's going to be 3-1.
Yeah, they both got the big hands. Alan, of course, is the more experienced, but he also has age too. But he's still.
Yeah, Alan Fisher's 63 years old.
63.
And still looking like a beast. I do think Alan Fisher needs to calm down and stay away from the fouls, because every time he pulls in wall, he just cannot calm himself down. I get it; he's a super hyped up arm wrestler, but. It won't be the first time we've seen him match one on fouls.
So what are you going on that one?
3-1.
3-1?
Alan Fisher.
Yeah. I'll say 3-1.
Next, Ryan Bowen versus Alan Guerrero. Ryan Bowen's debut match in WAL.
Bowen. Yeah.
Crikey.
I think he's going to put on the bleed on this one. What are you going, 3-0?
Yeah, I think he's going to destroy Alan Guerrero. I think he's just got too much hand dominance, and now that he's working with Todd Hutchings, he's got the side pressure. It's going to be too much to handle. I
think the first match will be a challenge, but after that, after he puts on that bleed like he always does, he's going to take it for 3-0.
If Alan Guerrero's been doing any research on Ryan Bowen, I hope he doesn't do anything more than a couple of months back, because the improvement that he's made, he's probably added a good 30 to 40 pounds of side pressure, and his hands definitely isn't nothing to mess with now.
What class is this?
It's 198.
198. So if Ryan wins this one, I'd love to see eventually Ryan and Justin Bishop pull again. I think that would be a good one. Definitely.
Somebody's getting hurt in that match. Next, Malene Kleinsmith. Malin.
Versus
Fia.
I'm going to go Fia. I've seen her pull more.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go 3-2.
These ladies have met before. I think they're actually friends in real life, but I'm not sure. Fia has definitely increased her muscle mass in the last few years. I think that she is a very also explosive puller. Kleinsmith is a little more laid back.
Mm-hmm. I think it'll be close though.
Yeah, I think it's going to be 3-2 Fia.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
I'm thinking the same.
Next, Sylvain Piron versus Matt Mask. Matt Mask was going to pull Michael Todd, was he not?
Yeah, that wasn't really a good matchup, I don't think.
Yeah, I think that they went, this is not a good idea.
I think the only way Matt could have had that one was with quick pin, flash pin, but besides that, wasn't a good matchup.
I think it's going to be really close, man. Matt Mask hasn't shown his best efforts in the last few events he's been to, WAL.
That's true. I definitely think he's coming hungry, though. It'll be a close one. It's up in the air.
I'm not.
Sylvain, I haven't really seen him pull, so.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to do some more research between now and the next podcast that we do, because I think we have one more between now and then.
So right now, I'm going to lean more towards Matt, just because of his hit.
I hope Matt Mask gets a win, and he definitely needs one to stay in the WAL season. So, then the super heavyweight match of the night, Dave Chafee versus Devin Larratt. What do you think about all the trash talking, man?
Man, I love watching Devin pull. But Dave's power, it's going to be interesting. If Devin can find a way to stop him, it's going to be great. I think it'll be match of the night if that happens. What do you think? What are your thoughts?
Take some brain crush. Do it. Whew. Brain crush by Country Crush. I think Dave Chafee is going to get 2 pins over Devin, and I think he's going to wear himself out. You know, obviously his stamina is not there. Yeah. Devin Larratt's got the best stamina on planet Earth. Unless Dave Chafee is just too much for Devin to handle.
I think as long as Devin stays outside of him, that'd be good.
I don't think that Dave Chafee has the table knowledge, and he doesn't have the endurance to deal with Devin Larratt. I definitely think.
What do you think about if it goes to the strap? You think Dave will just power through? Or?
I think after seeing what Michael Todd did to him, he's gonna pull out the King's move, man. I mean, he's got one. You know, I think Todd Hutchings probably has more side pressure than Dave Chafee. So if he can hold him that close to the pin line, especially if we get a little WAL roughing going on.
Right. So I'm gonna go 3-2 Devin on this one.
Yep, same. All right, next we're gonna be talking about some grippers, a little gripper action. You said that this is your favorite thing to work with, right?
Yeah, the heavy grippers. This is the hundreds. Do these almost every day at work.
I've got the Captains of Crush. I've got 0.5, 1, 2, 2.5, and 3. I think.
So, I definitely think the COC has a cleaner look to it, and the knurling looks better.
And that's what's used worldwide for competitions and stuff.
Right.
Obviously.
It looks like the knurling is smaller on this one, but
it's a little more aggressive.
Yeah.
I don't think the heavy grips is a little cleaner.
Yeah, I do these every day. Like, I'll do 100 reps, 3 sets in the morning, afternoon, and before I leave work.
Wait, how many reps in one set?
I'll do 100 of the 100, 3 sets. and then like I just knock
And
them
that's
out.
why his nickname's the Thumb.
Knock those out in the morning at work, and then after lunch at work, and right before I leave work, I'll do those. Now these I haven't really. The
Captain's Crush.
Captain of Crush I haven't used much of. I mean, I think they get the job done the same way. So I mean,
The .5, I would say, is close to 150 on the heavy grips. This is the 100. That's the .5. That one's definitely a little bit harder.
yeah.
The ones I think are really close are the 200 and the 1 from the COC. 200 heavy grips. These two are almost. Give those a squeeze. See what you think as far as the pressure.
All right, so we got the 200 heavy grip. Okay,
That's the 1.
this is the 1. Get close.
Sweet.
Yeah. Another thing we noticed is the size difference.
It's really weird. So
So like this is the 200, and this. Let's see. Which one do you want to do first? Heavy?
let's do the heavy grips first. So that's the 100,
This is the
200.
200
Where's the 100?
right here.
Okay. Yeah. You can see like how much the difference is.
All right, so this is the 100, 200.
The stronger the heavy grips are, the smaller the diameter between the grips are. And then here's a 300.
100, 200.
Let me see that 100. Let me take this one. Yeah, that's 300.
This is the 200, 300. So yeah, the more, the smaller.
Yeah, the heavier
Heavier.
the grips are, the smaller the diameter between the handles are. The opposite is actually true for the Captains of Crush. This is the .5. This is the 1. I don't know if you can see that from here.
Now the difference on these isn't as big as the
Yeah.
heavy grippers, but there is a difference.
It's like a centimeter or less difference. There's the 1 and the 3.
Which is weird because it's bigger the heavier it gets, which is harder.
Yeah.
Your hand has to expand more.
I think it's just the spring tension on these, but it doesn't really account for these. And I don't have another set of these. One of the things about the heavy grips that is that the variance between the same size handle can be more. I think like you could have a 200-pound pair of heavy grips that are actually close to like 100, but there are some that are like 95, and there's other ones that are like 110.
Mm-hmm.
If you look up how to rate these, they put them in a thing and then hang weights from them till they
Oh, yeah.
close, and then they weigh the whole setup. These are a little bit closer. There's still a variance. You can have a pair of ones that are closer to 90 pounds, and they can range from 85 to 95. So the variance isn't quite as extreme, but the larger you go in the Captains of Crush, rather, the apparently I'm an adolescent boy because my voice just squeaked. The more difference that there's going to be. So the number 3, there's like.
Wait, so you're saying that the actual, like, it's not actually 300 pounds of pressure. It could be up or down.
Right. So like the number 3, I think the average is like 170.
So like, let's just say the 200 here. You're saying
Of the heavy grips.
of the heavy grips could be 190.
No. These aren't nowhere near their ratings. The way that they do it, the way that they're rated on like the world scale level, they'll put them in that thing, hang the weights from them, and a 200 pair of heavy grips is usually like 110. I think
Of
that's
actual force.
Yeah, I'd have to look it up, but it is like nowhere near what they actually say on the thing.
Well, that's depressing.
Well, I mean, so a number 4 heavy grip. I mean, not heavy grip. A number 4 Captains of Crush is only about 200 pounds, and that's like the best. You know, that's like the true test of strength. There's only like 15 people in the entire world, or maybe closer to 20 now, because everybody's under grip strength. But there's only like 20 people in the entire world that can close a number 4. That's why I don't even have them.
Yeah, that 350 for the heavy grippers, I don't even touch that one because that's
No, it's a brick wall.
brick wall.
Yeah, I can't move it. I've got the 300.
300's close. That's
Yeah. We'll have to do like a grip off next video.
yeah.
But yeah.
But these definitely have a cleaner look, I think.
Now, just for training purposes, for like arm wrestling and general grip strength, if you're not training for the country of Crush, if you're not going to a Silver Bullet event, you know what that is, where they take the little thing and hang it from. Yeah. If you're not going to a country Crush, Captains of Crush event, I would just buy the heavy grips. They're a lot cheaper. These are about $25 a pair. These are like $15. You can buy a whole set of these from $100 to $350 for like what, $100? A whole set of these is going to cost you over $200. It's like close to $250, I think. So for general training purposes, I would just buy the the heavy grips. There's nothing wrong with them. The knurling isn't quite as aggressive. So if you're going to, if you're worried about your hand, calluses and whatnot, I would just get the heavy grips.
You'll still get them, but not as.
It's not quite as aggressive. I think. Because I did have the heavy grips first. I think that if I hadn't had those, because I definitely tore some skin when I started with those, this would have really damaged my hand. I mean, it's like sandpaper, like 100 grit sandpaper. But if you are training for the Captains of Crush, you have to have the Captains of Crush. I mean, they're not the same thing. These are a better quality. Like we said, the diameter in the handles is a lot larger, except for the 100 because whatever reason. Is a lot larger than the Captain's of Crush, but
do those squeak when you use them?
Oh yeah,
those squeak.
These
too?
are the .5.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can hear that, but they definitely squeak. You're supposed to put oils and stuff on them.
Yeah, this is something I use all the time for arm wrestling training. So, training and practice.
Yeah. So what do you in training and practice? In practice, I think that you're looking for your weak spots, right? You want to pull from the spots that you're not as strong as.
I definitely think there's benefits to both. Like with training, lifting, you can see your numbers. You have a bit better picture of your progression. And with practice, you're working areas that you can't work, as much with training, like your different angles. You're actually getting the real feel for it.
Yeah, you want to do as like a realistic, obviously during training as you can, as close to arm wrestling. But it's impossible to get an exact feel for, because people can change their pressure, right? And you can't develop a system just to change pressures in your hand. Like if I'm going top roll and somebody goes from trying to top roll me to a press or for a hook, you can't make a system for that. It's impossible.
Exactly. But now, so there's some people who prefer table time and table time only, and then there's those who like to train with weights. So what's your thought on that?
I think that you need a good balance of both, especially if you're new to the sport. I mean, there's definitely things that you need to work on immediately. Your wrist. If you've never trained your biceps at all, you obviously have to have a big bicep for arm wrestling. No matter who you are, no matter what weight class, you need to have a good, strong bicep. It's also, I think training is also injury prevention, just in recovery. Because high reps for recovery, lots of reps for tendons just to help make them stronger. And obviously you're tearing your tendons to pieces in practice.
Right. I agree. I think there should be a balance, especially new pullers with training and practice. Because with practice, actually getting on the table, especially being safe, that's a main point too, safety. But training, you can see your numbers.
It's quantifiable.
Yeah.
like Todd Hutchings says that you need at least 100 pounds of side pressure to be competitive in pro arm wrestling, right? And so you can see if you have that. Different pulleys have different ratios to weights. So if you have like 2 pulleys, it's generally considered that it's like half the weight, or like quarter less than the actual weight.
And I think it's good to do, like, in training, exercises outside of arm wrestling training.
Oh, absolutely.
Like deadlift, squatting. I think it's just an overall balance.
Yeah. And you can always tailor those exercises to hit more areas. Like, you can use a thicker bar, deadlifts.
Exactly.
To help your hand. Squats, you can't really do that. I mean, you're obviously holding weight, but on your back and stuff. But like, just dumbbell curls, like if you're just going to do that, throw a pair of heavy grips on if you're looking to work your hand a little bit. But also maybe your hand's really strong and you just want to hit your biceps, don't use a pair of heavy grips. The country crush is obviously one of my favorite tools for arm wrestling training, just because you can do so much with it. It's like the different sizes on it. You can work your finger pressures more with this. It's a great tool to use. And if you're going to be doing like lat pull downs or anything similar to lat pull downs, maybe some deadlifts, throw this on there instead of your normal triangle, because this has a real small diameter and it doesn't spin. This spins, so you can work more of your wrist with the country crush. So like when you're coming down, curl in. Like I said, it's got different sizes, so the bigger your hand is, it goes all the way up to a 4-inch diameter on the grips itself, and it goes all the way down to like a 1.5. So there's something for everybody. Another thing I love to use is a cuppinator. It's hooked up right now, so I can't show you that, but it's just a wrist wrench, but it's got a strap on the back where you can put your hand through. You don't have to squeeze quite as hard to get the same effect. And I use that a lot on the cupping and kind of back dragging. Pulls your hand open. Gave you one that's a smaller diameter than I have, but
I started using that. Kills the wrist. It's a great tool. But yeah, definitely if you're a new puller, I would recommend doing some research and finding people in the area to practice with, because that's really important table time to have, because you're going to be working areas you've never worked before, stretching your tendons.
Yeah, you'll be moving up your knowledge too. I think Travis Bagent is a person who is a perfect example of somebody who doesn't get a ton of table time in. He's very working by himself for training all the time. He said that what he used to be able to get done in like 30 minutes, he's doing like 4 hours now to stay where he's at. And like the biggest thing he does, because he's a huge hit, he just gets some bands and comes back, and he's got marks on his floor, so he can come back here and see where he is. Just hold that and see how much pressure you can generate. And I do the same thing. Is you increase your rise and how much you can hold here. That's one of the things I like to do too, especially when I first got started, because my wrist was so weak. But John Brzenk is a huge proponent of table time. Table time. That's all. He's like, weightlifting is great, but if it affects your table time at all, get rid of it.
Now, so we had practice 4 days ago, and my arms are still killing me. That just comes with being a new puller. But the pain I'm feeling, I never get with lifting weights, like just the standard curls. I never get that pain.
Yeah, you can't go heavy enough to pull you out the way the arm wrestling is. So like, if you got somebody in position and they're really strong, and they can pull you when you're pulling as hard as you can, you're pulling those tendons, and there's just nothing, unless you're just like super cheating in, like letting it down super slowly, which I think it's a good way to throw your back out. I know if I did that, my back would be ruined for a couple of weeks. So in a way, practice is almost safer than super heavy training.
Definitely.
Plus, like I said last time, we try to keep each other safe. So if we see somebody's in a bad position, we're gonna let up. We're not gonna try to snap somebody's arm here.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing about the training though is that you can work where it's weaker specifically. It's really hard just to train your wrist when you're arm wrestling. I think
I agree. Yeah.
Like there's nothing like a wrist curl in arm wrestling specifically. Obviously, cupping and going into a deep hook with somebody is working your wrist, but
yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
That full motion.
Yeah, there's nothing that you can really, unless you're just like super strong already. But then there's no point.
Mm-hmm.
You can throw different handles, work different sizes of people's hands, with dumbbell training, lat pull downs. You throw thicker handles on, like I said. Yeah. I don't know if I have anything else to say about it. I mean, we practice every 2 weeks, right? And I think that gives you.
I think that's enough time, especially if you're lifting as well.
Mm-hmm.
It gives you enough time to get your lifting in, recovery for the next practice.
It allows me to hit a couple maxes, like maybe a table curl, like a side pressure max, just to see where I'm at, or hit a max and then come back down and weight to get some holds.
I'm not really sure how often people usually practice. I would think right now every week is maybe too much.
For us,
For us.
For sure.
Because my arm's still killing me 4 days later.
Now, if I was just practicing, just practicing and not training at all, I would definitely be doing it every week. But I don't know, just from personal experience, how much better I'd get. I don't think that my wrist could develop as quickly as it has over the past 6 months with just practice every week.
So you think the training helps?
Oh, absolutely. If like I said, you just hit things more specifically, right? Like if you have a super weak wrist, which I certainly did in the beginning, then you can train that by itself. If your elbow is hurting, right, you don't have to put a ton of side pressure into just doing a dumbbell curl or working your wrist, right? So you can there's always something that you can train, is what I'm trying to say. Train your hand if your forearm's hurting. If your hand's hurting, you can train side pressure. Just put the strap around your wrist, go straight side. If your bicep hurts, you can train your shoulders. Just for me, I need training and practice both, from what I've experienced so far.
Yeah, I think that's the case for new pullers.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Devin, would you consider that training?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he does very specific moves.
Like I don't know if he lifts weights or not.
I mean, he's lifting them off the table.
Like bench or stuff like that.
He used to. When he was in the Army, he trained very heavy because that's all they had out there was, they had a big tent full of equipment when they were out in the desert. But some people are so strong when they come into it, that's all they need is the practice to get their table IQ up,
Yeah, and a lot of people who are new to it already have a lot of lifting experience, and once they start pulling, they get a lot of pain in their arm, and some people don't come back because of that pain.
Oh, absolutely. They're wimping.
Like I'm feeling it now, but
yeah, but we're still going to pull in 2 weeks. Practice also gives a chance for more experienced people to come in and tell you what you're doing wrong or correct, what you need to work on. There's some people here in Tennessee that, well, all around Tennessee really, that I would love to have come to our practice and teach us something, because I am one of those people who spends so much time on arm wrestling throughout the week. I could do it for a living. Like if my job was to research arm wrestling, just for how much enthusiasm I have for it, how much dedication I have to get have to getting better, and not like looking like a fool at my next tournament. Sorry about that. Kind of new at this. Not exactly technically equipped yet. But like
Alright, so research.
Yeah. My enthusiasm into researching arm wrestling is just
Through the roof.
Yeah, and it might change 6 months from now. I don't know. I've already been at this for 6 months. Been researching arm wrestling for years already in general strength, but I mean, you do the same thing.
YouTube. Yep.
Uh,
Every day.
Hours.
I tire my wife out with that every single day, but
Oh yeah, like I'm like, hey baby, look at this dude. She's like, I don't care. I just want to sit here and watch my movie, read my book.
Yep.
I mean, I probably spend 20 to 30 hours every week on arm wrestling, and that doesn't include editing these videos and stuff like that. It includes practice, training.
I mean, it's a great sport. I love it because it's one-on-one, hand-to-hand. It's not a team sport. It's you against the other person. You know, no excuses.
Yeah, I mean it's a group activity if you think about it.
Like
but
training,
it's,
yeah.
But when you're on that table, you're by yourself.
It's you.
No one can hear you scream. I love it, and I don't like relying on other people anyway for anything. Except Eric here, man. He's a pretty reliable dude.
But yeah, every 2 weeks you practice. Nashville. Jesse here, hit him up.
Oh yeah, we're having an open practice July the 7th of this year at the Elm Hill Tavern. So if you live in Nashville and you're wanting to try arm wrestling, you've never done it before, come down there. It's the address is 1941 Elm Hill Pike, Nashville, Tennessee. And we'll be doing it from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. And maybe it'll extend a little bit longer, I don't know. Just depends on how many people we have show up. But I know there'll be at least 6 or 7 of us. So we'll definitely have an opportunity. I got 2 tables, so there's definitely, you can come in and test your hand at it. Do not try to bet any of us for money because you're going to lose some money.
Yep, be a good time.
Or no, let me take that back. We're super weak. You know, we'll take all challenges. Anyway, Nashville Arm Wrestling. That's all we got. Catch you guys later. What's up, YouTube? This is Nashville Arm Wrestling with another episode of Table Talk. I'm Jesse.
And I'm Eric.
What's up? I did not do that right. Let's just talk for a minute. WAL 503. What did you think about it, man?
Let's start over.